quiet, please. Oh my God, shh. Film's about to start.
Hello world, welcome to Drew's Reviews. In today's film we'll be discussing Friendship, a dark comedy directed by Andrew DeYoung featuring Tim Robinson as Craig Waterman and Paul Rudd as Austin Carmichael. The film delves into the complexities of adult male relationships, highlighting themes of loneliness and the challenge of forming new friendships later in life. This is going to be a bit of a strange one, which I should expect nothing less from A24, who's the production studio behind this film, and then seeing Tim Robinson come from his sketch comedy career into this Hollywood film production career is so strange that he's doing this. Little bit of a spoiler in regards to what I'm going to give this as a grade.
Not listening.
It's going to be a higher grade, but that's just because I'm the audience that they're targeting. But I feel if somebody didn't know Tim Robinson's humor and how he goes about doing his sketches and everything, going to see this film, you're just going to be either having the worst time of your life or the best time of your life.
You sure about that? You sure about that? That's why?
I feel like there's no real in-between in this one. Overall, the director did a good job with the way the film was styled. I thought that was pretty good. The way that the film was shot made it feel more intense. It was just so A24, just that type of film. You can see why the A24 production studio greenlit this film. You could tell it was definitely up their alley of this weird, dark comedy. Most of A24, anytime they delve into any genre, there's always this weird aspect. There's always this little twist that they like to do in their films. Plus, I feel the way the directors and the actors made certain scenes feel so awkward and just tense, and you're just either laughing or you're just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I had a really good time overall, but the biggest negatives,
Come on, man.
is that the film has such a basic concept and such a basic story, and it's not that complicated that it could have been shorter than what it was. This film times out at about 1:40. I feel they could have shortened this a little bit more, maybe an hour and 20, maybe an hour and 15, and I feel it would have been even better. They just stretched everything out so much that it just went on longer than it should have. It definitely overstayed its welcome.
And it really bothered me.
But besides that, I did enjoy myself just because I'm already, I wouldn't say the biggest fan of Tim Robinson, but I'm a pretty general fan of Tim Robinson. I haven't seen every single thing that he's done. I watched some of his stuff earlier on Netflix with I Think You Should Leave. Really hilarious sketch show.
Do you know how to f***ing drive? No. What? No, I don't know how to f***ing drive. I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm f***ing scared. What are you talking about, you psycho?
I was looking forward to this film, and it did exactly what I expected. It was really funny. They did a good job at some of the scenarios they put him in, and in all honesty, it's Tim Robinson being Tim Robinson.
What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
If you know what I mean, then this is right up your alley, just like it was right up my alley. I'm probably going to be in the minority of enjoying this film.
Yay!
I haven't looked at any Rotten Tomatoes or watched any reviews, so I don't know how it's going to shake out with the general going audience. But for me, I enjoyed myself a lot. It's always a good time seeing Tim Robinson crash out because of some irregular or maybe simple thing happening and just him doing his bit. I don't get tired of it. I know some people might, but for me, it's just so funny to see him just react to these regular situations or these extreme situations situations.
You all accepted me way too fast. You can't do that.
He should be dead, you psycho! Who are you?
Comedy for him comes so naturally. I'm sure the majority of this film wasn't even scripted. I'm sure it was just him ad-libbing and riffing and everything, and then combining Tim Robinson with Paul Rudd, who is not exactly but on that similar comedy spectrum of the weird comedy. Paul Rudd kind of hits there a little bit. They were a good duo. All of their scenes that they had together were very hilarious, even the intense ones. Paul Rudd reacting to how weird Tim Robinson is, or Tim Robinson reacting to how weird Paul Rudd's character is. It was such a good dynamic. I thought they did a really good job. And then seeing Kate Mara in this, I haven't seen her in a lot of comedy specific movies. Usually I've seen her in more serious drama or action films. Her parts weren't really that funny unless it's Tim Robinson reacting to her in his weird way. So that dark comedy, she was more on that part of the film, like that darker part where it gets a little serious. The film, to me, it isn't serious whatsoever. It's just him being put in this scenario with all of these crazy things happening and trying to have this whole friendship and being the outsider and all of that. Very simplistic ideals and had no deeper message, but still funny regardless. Anyway, Jack Dylan Grazer, he wasn't too much in the film. He was kind of just background noise. Some parts that he did have were kind of hilarious. It was really good seeing Josh Segarra pop in there. That was really funny. If you haven't seen Abbott Elementary, he's hilarious in that, and his part in this was pretty funny. Overall, the cast was great, but it was just these two that really kept that film on its legs. Their dynamic is what made this film for me. It's a dark comedy, and I feel like they did the comedy very well, and that just comes naturally from Tim Robinson. His type of comedy is so specific that I don't know how people are going to react, but for me, who has seen his material beforehand, I thought they did a really good job, and the addition of Paul Rudd was just even more of a plus. All in all, if we're just going based off of the experience that I was expecting going into this film and how I felt leaving out, I enjoyed myself and I had a really fun time. So I'm going to give Friendship a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it did what I expected. The only thing, it just felt like a really long sketch from his sketch show on Netflix. That was the biggest problem I had. It could have been way shorter than it was, but other than that, it's really hard for me to say whether I recommend somebody go see this just because his comedy is so specific.
Someone drove a hot dog-shaped car through the window.
Driver's gone. Somebody call the cops. We need to find that driver.
They could have killed someone.
Whose car is this?
Yeah, come on. Whoever did this, just get fast. We promise we won't be mad.
But I would say if you know about Tim Robinson and you know how his comedy style is, then I suggest you go check this out. If not, be a little weary. Maybe check some of his stuff out if you have Netflix or whatever streaming service that his sketch comedy is on. Maybe check a couple episodes out, and if it's not for you, I would definitely say skip out on this movie because the entire movie is just this specific type of comedy. I think they did a really good job. Either you'll go along for the ride or you just won't like it at all, but I really enjoyed this film more than probably I'm thinking most will.
There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
Thank you for tuning in to my review of Friendship. Please like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what's your favorite dark comedy film. I would love to hear your thoughts. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.